Yeah, so this is a picture actually of downtown Boise in Idaho where we are. So we'll have some pictures to show you later. But as I mentioned, that if you guys can put in your where you're from, the colleges, universities you're from, in your home country, kind of introduce yourself, that would be great, so we can keep track of everyone. And then just as I said before, we'll talk about who we are, where we are, what we offer about the program, how to apply, and we'll have some questions and answers at the end. And just as I already mentioned, who I am, Grady Wright, and then we have Eduardo Serra, who's the other co-director of the program, and then Brenda Baker, who's our program coordinator, who you just heard speak. So yeah, keep me on task here. So yeah, so this was just a little bit about the program. So we had 73 graduates, as I mentioned, and since you couldn't see before, but now maybe you do see, we have a breakdown in terms of the four emphasis areas where we have cybersecurity, computer science, computational math, science engineering, that's the CMSE, and then the data science. And we'll say a bit more about each of those emphasis areas in a bit, but this gives you an idea of where our current students are in the different emphasis areas. Okay, so we have 37 graduates, as I mentioned. So far, the program started in 2017, and you can find out more information about those graduates, where they are, following that link there, about some career opportunities too. So in terms of the graduates, we have most people who have finished the program so far have ended up in industry jobs. There are some also in government and national labs, and then some more, about 9 who have ended up in academia. All right, so the program is an interdisciplinary program, and that means that it involves multiple departments across the university. And the kind of breakdown of where we have participating departments at the moment are listed here. So we have people from biology, business and economics, civil engineering, chemistry and biochemistry, computer science, electrical and computer engineering, geosciences, human environmental systems, material science and engineering, mathematics, which is the kind of my area, and mechanical and biomedical engineering and physics. So yeah, so there's 59 faculty who participate in the program, and we really do believe computing is an interdisciplinary um, topic, program of study, and it shows in the faculty that participate in our program, as you can see. So as I mentioned, you saw the slide before, the program, the university is in Boise, Idaho. That's why it's called Boise State University. Boise is the capital city of Idaho, and it's the most populous city in the state of Idaho. It's the metropolitan area surrounding Boise is called the Treasure Valley, and we have several cities that make up the Treasure Valley that adjoin Boise itself. But downtown Boise is really the cultural center of this whole Treasure Valley, and it includes where the computing PhD program are, where the classrooms are, where the offices are. The state capitol building is just a couple blocks away from where the computing PhD lives, and there's museums, there's zoos, there's a lot more to explore around the city. And it's really what we like to say is a perfect blend of metropolitan atmosphere surrounded by natural beauty and outdoor experiences. So not far from the city is just an expansive wilderness that you can go and explore and just really decompress. So it's a very nice area. So as I mentioned, Boise, yeah. So here's a few things about it. So it's ranked as the 11th best place to live. That was in 2022. I'm not sure where we rank these days, but I can't imagine it's any lower than that. It's a very nice place. It's a safe place to live. Also, crime is very low here. It's the home of our university, Boise State University. 1/3 actually of the U.S. potatoes are grown in Idaho, and it's the home of potatoes, as our sort of license plates say. And it's about amazingly 4.7 million acres of wilderness to explore, which is I think one of the largest states, or the state with the largest amount of wilderness, at least untouched wilderness, maybe besides Alaska. But it's a very nice place where there's a lot of wilderness to explore. Here's some just pictures of Boise. So the arrows pointing to where our PhD computing program, kind of the headquarters is in this building down here with the Clearwater sign. And you can see maybe the Boise State B sign there. That's the Department of Computer Sciences here, and where our computing PhD offices are, where Brenda Baker is the program director and some of the code and the other co-director. And you can kind of see the mountains in the back. So that's area is open to the public to explore. It's all open space areas. And the Capitol building is this building you see just down below the Zions Bank building. This is just a close-up of where the actual offices are. It's a nice new building in downtown Boise, where we have the offices. And the kind of unique thing about our department, or where the Department of Computer Sciences and where the computing PhD program lives, is we abut to like a lot of high-tech industry just right there. So in our building itself is the Clearwater Group, which is an analytics firm for financial products. So this gives you a picture of the main campus area. It's kind of where we are, and then you can see downtown Boise is the higher rise buildings there in the distance, and then you can see the start of the wilderness area where the mountains are. Yeah, and for those who don't know, we're unique amongst the universities in the country, in the U.S., in that we have a blue turf football field, American football that is. Field, and it's a picture of it, so it makes it unique when you see this. And we have the "Go Blue" we usually say for our motto here. So this gives just another idea. So in the springtime, there's lots of blossoms that come out, and it's a very pretty time of the year. That's the main administration building you're looking at through the circle. There's a river runs right next to campus, the Boise River. And in the fall, we have a nice balloon festival that you can see all these hot air balloons arise. You can actually float the river in the summertime, and you can fish. I fish in the river right here, and it's amazing. It's a clean river, which is kind of surprising for being in a metro area. It does snow in Boise, just to let you guys know. So if you haven't experienced snow before, we get snow. We don't get a lot. This looks like a lot, but and compared to other areas where I've lived, this isn't very much. But it does snow occasionally. The snow doesn't typically stick around for too long, but you'll see it. Yeah, and as I mentioned, Boise is really developing as a tech hub. We have quite a few major tech industries here. There's Micron, which is a chip manufacturer. That you may have heard of. We have, of course, Hewlett-Packard here with their printer division. They do some research and development here. There's a Simplot, is an agricultural company, but they do a lot of things in the data analytics area. Meta has some offices here. Clearwater Analytics. We have Idaho National Lab, which is one of the U.S. national laboratories who focuses mostly on energy issues. Pacific Northwest National Labs is in the state in Washington, which is the state just to the northwest of us. And then we have Clickbait, sorry, Bank, Mark, Monitor, Count, and Paylocity. So we have actually ranked as number 5 in Surge Cities. That was in 2019, and it's only increased since there. As I mentioned, the PhD in computing is the largest PhD program at Boise State. We have this very robust interdisciplinary program for really producing the next generation of computing researchers. There's widespread faculty support and valuable opportunities for all students in our program. And we are really focused on developing problem solvers and innovators that will make an impact in the world. I mentioned this already, but just to kind of get into the details, we have 4 emphasis areas. The CMSE, which is this computational math, science, and engineering. That's the one I'm primarily have advised students in. We have computer science and cybersecurity, and then the data science. And then amongst kind of each of the emphasis areas, what they focus on, this just gives you a little breakdown there. So The CMSE is really about the application and development of computational models to solve scientific and engineering problems. Computer science is about the theory, design, development, and application of computer and software systems, whereas cybersecurity is about the protection of computers, networks, programs, industrial control systems, and data. And the data science is about scientific methods, processes, algorithms, systems to extract or insights from data. And we do take this holistic approach, which this quote describes here, about involving people in the computing field. Some of the strengths and our successes. So as we had the slide before, we've had 37 graduates since 2017, and that number will increase significantly after the end of this academic year. We offer an unwavering commitment to help our students secure funding. We have 20 students from this past year. So our fall 2024 cohort of students was 20 from all over the world. And our graduates, really, they end up in industry, as we mentioned, the government labs, academia. And yeah, we've had great success getting people jobs afterwards. So kind of something unique maybe about our program is that we offer students the ability to transfer in some of the credits they may have done during a master's degree or even as a bachelor's degree, as long as they're graduate level credits. So you can transfer up to 21 graduate level credits towards the PhD program requirements from a master's program, or up to 9 from a bachelor's, as long as they're graduate level credits. And all the transfer credits, however, they have to meet the graduate college requirements and they have to be approved. So it's not an automatic thing. You have to submit documentation about the courses you took, and then it's a case-by-case basis whether or not these are accepted. But we have had many students take advantage of this, and it just helps them progress through the course part of the program a little bit more quickly. All right, so now let's talk about how the funding works. So GA is graduate assistant. That's what the GA stands for, and then the funding situation. So we have a few program funding for students. These are graduate teaching assistantships and graduate research assistantships. They include a twice monthly stipend and coverage of your tuition payment and your health insurance. For you to be eligible for consideration for this GA funding, all you need to do is make sure you submit your application materials before the January 5th, on or before the January 5th priority deadline. All students who submit their application by that time will be considered for the graduate assistant funding. We typically let people know about their admissions into the program in February, and we begin making our offers, that is the GA funding offers, in March. Now, many of you will probably, who do get accepted, who apply and get accepted, will be wondering when those decisions are made. They are made in March at some point, but it's really hard for us to give a more definite timeline than March about when you'll receive the offers for the GA funding. There's a lot of things, internal things at work that take a while to sort through. So we can't give any more definite feedback than that. For the fall 2024 funding, so we had 10 computing GAs. Those are funding research assistantships or graduate assistantships that our program offers itself. We had 11 that came strictly for computer science students. Well, they also could be applied to a few other different people in different emphasis areas, but they come from the computer science department. We had 7 people supported by fellowships, students supported by fellowships or other graduate assistantships. And then there were the bulk majority, as a 24, are supported by grants from faculty advisors. So that's where the primary funding comes from. We do have 21 students who are self-supported. These are students who are part-time students, and they typically have a job on the side, so they're working and going through the program at the same time. So those are the self-support. We try to get most students in this category of the computing GA, computer science GA fellowships. And I mean, ultimately, the goal is to get all the students supported on faculty grants. This gives you a breakdown on the right side of where the funding sources come from, as a sort of a bar chart. So the ideal student funding model for our program is that in year one, the students would be supported by the program. So on one of our computing GAs or computer science GAs, and then they find a faculty advisor, move on from the faculty advisor in year two to the support that the faculty advisor gets. So that's the external funding that the faculty advisor provides. And then they maintain through those years until they reach their diploma or defend their thesis, and they're supported in that way. Now, this is an ideal situation here, by the way. Getting the diploma also in 4 years, that's not guaranteed, just to kind of give you just an image of what it would look like. But the idea is that you find an advisor who can support you, and then you're on their support throughout the program. Okay, so we do have a few also fellowship opportunities available to some students that would be eligible for, depending on their emphasis area and some other eligibility requirements. One is this Bridge to the Doctorate Fellowship Program. This is a program that comes from the National Science Foundation. That's what NSF stands for. And it's a program that's open eligibility for, well, you have to be admitted into a Boise State STEM program, which STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And that the computing PhD counts for that. You have to be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or be a permanent resident. And then you have to have evidence that you participated in one of these LSAMP programs. So the LSAMP program stands for the Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. That's what LSAMP stands for. And then with that, if you meet any of those, all those criteria there, then you can be eligible for this Bridge to the Doctorate Fellowship, which is a great program. It provides a stipend of $32,000 plus tuition and fees covered annually. There's a continued funding support through the program. There's community building available to you. There's a lot of opportunities available through this program. So if you do have questions, you can send questions to the computing PhD email address or directly to this iFits program itself. The other opportunity we have, that's open, by the way, to all emphasis areas, the Bridge to the Doctorate program. We also have another fellowship opportunity called the Bronco Shield Fellowship, and this is available for people who want to pursue a cybersecurity emphasis area. And it provides, again, full tuition coverage, even more stipend, $37,000 stipend, and you have some also contribution towards health insurance and professional development. This is only available to U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents. And if you are interested in this award, please let us know and we can get you in contact with the right people who run this. Gabby Dogger is the one who runs the program, and he's a faculty member in computer science. All right. So just to go over kind of some of the degree requirements that we have for our program, for those who aren't familiar or maybe want a little more clarification. So we have 30 course credits. That's core courses and electives that must be completed. And then we have 30 hours of dissertation that must be completed. So you have 30 credit hours of courses. Some of those, again, if you've taken some graduate level courses for a master's degree, you can apply to have some of those credits count towards this 30 course credit load. But then there's this other 30 hours of dissertation. Those cannot be met in any other way than being here on campus and going through the program itself. So amongst those 30 course credits we have, each emphasis area has a different set of requirements regarding those 30 course credits. So the computational math, science, and engineering, there's these 4 courses that have to be completed. For the computer science, there's these 3 courses, or with this, well, 3 courses have to be completed. And then there's some electives also associated with everything. And then they have these 4 courses for the data science area, and the cybersecurity again has these other core courses. All right, so amongst the core courses I mentioned, there's also elective courses. We have pre-approved elective courses you can choose from, and then you can also, in discussion with your faculty advisor, decide whether or not other courses that are available can count towards the 30 course credit electives. All right, and then the other part of the program besides the courses is this doctoral comprehensive exam. So this is a part of the program which you typically would do after you finish your first year and while you're in your second year, although that time can vary depending on your circumstances. But our comprehensive exam consists of 3 pieces. The first piece is that you write a synthesis paper. And the idea for this is that you're trying to exhibit critical reading and writing skills and the ability to identify and pose open research questions. So this is demonstrating to us that you're ready to take the next step to do research at the PhD level. Then there's also a computing artifact that goes along with it. So this just is used to show us that you can produce well-tested and documented code. And then the final one is there's an oral presentation where you present the synthesis paper and the computing artifact to the public, to an audience, as well as your committee, and then you're asked questions to test your knowledge in the area. And that's the 3 pieces of the comprehensive exam. It's a pass-fail situation. So when you pass, you progress to the next step in the program, and if you fail, then your final semester is of the program. You're dismissed there. But we know that's not going to happen.
Question about that.
Okay. What's that?
Question about that doctoral comprehensive exam. If I
Sure.
got something similar like that in master degree, would that replace this?
You can work with your committee to decide whether a master's thesis could count towards this comprehensive exam, towards the synthesis paper, and the computing artifact. We've had students in the past who have used a master's degree for this, but they maybe didn't do a computing artifact as part of it, so they might have to do another piece of it. And then if they have done an oral presentation, we usually ask them to do that. But yeah, so does that answer your question? There can be some flexibility there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about the comprehensive exam? Okay. Well, there'll be a Q&A at the end too, where everyone can jump in and ask. All right. So after completing the comprehensive exam, then you typically start registering for dissertation credit hours. And there's 30 dissertation credit hours that you register for. These are just hours you register for that where you're actually pursuing your dissertation topic. You're doing your research. You're coming up with new results. You're writing papers. You're basically contributing to the knowledge base in your emphasis area. And there's the dissertation itself is basically consists of 3 components. So you have a proposal that you'll do as part of that. So this is a proposal you give to your committee members that just says what it is you intend to do for your dissertation. This gives the committee an opportunity to weigh in on whether they think this will be a contribution, will be enough of a contribution to constitute a dissertation, or provide some kind of feedback, constructive feedback in what you intend to do. And then after your proposal has been approved by the committee, then the next step is the thesis itself. So that's a document you write, a scholarly writing where you describe your independent and original research contributions. And then associated with the thesis is a defense of the thesis. This is a public oral presentation that you give on your research. And then it's opened up to questioning from the public as well as your committee members to see, to ask questions about your research and test you on it. All aspects of this dissertation you have to complete while enrolled in the computing PhD program. Okay. So how do you apply for the program for those who hopefully will be applying? So the application deadline that you should all be aware of is January 5th. That's the priority deadline that you need to have all your materials in if you want to be considered for the program funding. Decisions are typically made in February and March, and the final decisions you'll get in terms of GA funding would be in March sometime. Okay, there's another deadline we offer, which is April 15th. If you don't make the January 5th, you can still apply and be admitted into the program. It's just that you would not be considered for the GA funding. And so those are the two things. We encourage everyone to try to get everything into us by the January 5th deadline. Before you apply for admissions, at a minimum, you need to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution, and you must have completed coursework in computer programming or documented experience in programming. You must be able to show that itself. And each of the emphasis areas has a different kind of minimum requirements that we expect, and these are all outlined on our course on the program webpage itself. Right. So yeah, you need to compile your application materials, which you should confirm you meet the basic requirements and eligibility. You need to order official transcripts from your undergraduate institution or any institutions you did a master's degree at. They have to be official transcripts sent from the university itself or the college itself. They cannot be just copies that you obtained unofficially. You have to complete the computing admission questionnaire. There's a statement of purpose that you need to also write, so like an essay there. You provide your current CV or resume, and then you need to have 3 letters of recommendation. All international students need to submit English proficiency scores. We do offer waivers in some cases for countries, students coming from countries whose predominant language is English, or if you attended a university where your instruction was in English, then you can apply for a waiver for this requirements itself. There is an application fee that's required. Unfortunately, we can't offer any waivers for this, and that's necessary to submit. And again, you need to have all of this material listed here submitted by January 5th if you want to be considered for the GA funding. All right, so just frequently asked questions that we get, and we'll go over these just in, yeah, so maybe if Juliet wants to, ask her question. Do you have a question, Juliet?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, please, I just want to ask that concerning maybe you have applied to Boise before,
Yeah.
and then it happens you are not successful your first application, then you do a second application.
Yeah.
So concerning the issue of getting recommendations, do you have to resend all those documents like the recommendations that you did in the second application?
Yes, it's considered a new application. Yeah, so you would submit all the materials again.
All right. Sure. Thank you. I just wanted to seek some clarity on that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. I think there was another hand up too. Let's see. Is that King? I'm not sure what the.
Yes, that's King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, yes, King. Yes, I also want to find out about the application. I tried last year to the master's program in computer science, and I was successful though, but I want to reapply to the PhD program. So I wanted to find out if I'm supposed to resend my official transcripts to the school, to the admission office again.
That's a good question. Do you know the answer to that one, Brenda? I'm not sure how that works.
It may be possible that your former official transcript could be uploaded to your new materials, and I could help coordinate that as long as nothing's changed and they're on file. I could certainly help you pursue that with graduate admissions.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great. Maybe I can get through the frequently asked questions and then we'll open it up. So Mark, I'll get back to you. I know you have your hand up here. but just maybe some of these will answer some of the questions with people's hands that are raised. So I'll hold off just for a couple more slides and get back to you guys with your hands raised. All right, so just in terms of what minimum GPA you need and how important it is. So if you have a master's degree, so applicants who don't have a master's degree, they're recommended to have a GPA of a 3.0. That's out of 4. So so 3 out of 4.0 or better in the last 40 hours of undergraduate coursework. And the applicants with a master's degree are recommended to have a GPA of 3.3 or better in their master's degree program. And these are recommendations. So the applicants are evaluated on all aspects of their application, not just on their GPA itself. So we cannot offer application fee waivers, as I mentioned before. So yeah, please don't send us messages requesting those things. We just are unable to do it. We do not also accept unofficial transcripts, as I mentioned. You have to submit your official transcripts to the university in order for your application to be considered complete. And then we have links here about carefully reviewing all the instructions you need to submit these transcripts. So if you're planning to apply by the January 5th deadline, you should be requesting your transcripts now from your university to be submitted to Boise State, because it can take a while, especially for international students, to get those to come through. When will you be notified? So again, we have that January 5th, that's a priority deadline. April 15th is the final deadline. You can be expected to, about 4 or 5 weeks after the deadlines about whether you've been admitted into the program. And then it takes a while longer to decide, if you meet the January 5th, whether you'll be offered a program funding. Yeah, that's essentially what I mentioned there. So in late February, March, you'll be notified about that. You do not have to have an advisor before you start the program. So don't think that you have to have one that's somebody already committed to advising you. That's typically not how it works in our program, but students do need to have identified 2 or 3 faculty members in their application materials that they think that they could work with, or that they're interested in being advised by. And that's part of the admission questionnaire there. So all students, yeah, need to identify an advisor by the end of their first semester. That's what we put into place. So yeah, there's a computing PhD faculty directory that you can look through that gives a brief introduction to people and what their research are, with links to their maybe personal pages or their group's personal pages, their lab, and you can find out more about those people there. So as mentioned, it's an interdisciplinary program, so they're across all departments, all colleges in our university, not all colleges, but 2 different colleges in our university. And so it's good to reach out to the faculty members whose research you find interesting. If you share a little briefly about your background, why you're interested in pursuing a PhD, and why you're interested in their particular area, then that's kind of the way people typically go about this. You can also inquire about their current research projects and whether they have any openings in their group or in their lab, and any funding opportunities that way. Okay. And then, yeah, of course, asking if they're looking for current PhD students. So these are good things to do before you submit your application materials. And it's good to identify in your questionnaire about who you may have contacted. All right. Now, many of you may ask how long it will take me to finish the program. We can't give you a definite number. We can say that it takes approximately between 4 to 5 years for students who are entered with a bachelor's degree. But there cannot be a timeline. It's not a course-based degree. It's a research-based degree. Essentially, you have courses to complete, but the main product is a dissertation, and that dissertation can take, it can be done quickly if there's research that can you have that satisfies the requirements of being original, but it can also take a lot longer than that. I mean, there's no timeline we can put on that. For people with master's degrees, they typically finish the program a bit shorter because in a shorter time period, because they've already maybe satisfied some of the course requirements that are necessary for the program, or they've kind of maybe already got a jump on some of the research that's going to go into their dissertation. For part-time students, they typically take longer, more than 5 years. We have students that started in 2017, 2018, who are part-time students who are still going through the program. And yeah, so the issue is it's just the amount of time you have available to commit to doing the research and producing the original material, which hard to put a timeline on that. Okay, so that's all we had for the frequently asked questions. And now we can open it up. If you guys have questions you want to ask, hopefully we can answer.
Okay, thank you. This is Mark. I have a question.
Okay,
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation.
sure.
My question is about the application. I submitted my application,
Okay,
but like some colleague mentioned it that if at all you have 2 applications you opened or you have ever applied before.
yeah,
So for my case, I've ever applied before last year.
okay,
So this year I still applied, but on some of the requirements, the bachelor's degree transcripts, they are showing that they were submitted, but they are showing the previous time. So I don't know, will they be considered or I have to resend them?
You've already had your graduate
Bachelor's degree transcripts.
submitted from the previous time you applied.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
and the
for
question
this
is,
new application, they still reflect that they were submitted. So will they be considered or I have to resend them?
yeah, again, good question. I'm not, Brendan, do you know how that works? I'm not sure how that works.
I'm sorry, I was responding to another question on the chat.
Oh.
Can you repeat the question quickly?
Well, I'll just tell you, it's he has
Okay,
submitted, yeah, you want me to,
my bachelor's degree reflect, but they show the time that for previous application. So will we consider them or I have to resubmit?
So you submitted an application previously that was unsuccessful?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you must reapply.
But
however much they are showing on the system that they are submitted.
How long ago did you apply?
This was, okay, I submitted this year, at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
For the previous one.
So we should have your official transcripts on file with graduate admissions. And again, I could help you get that loaded into your current application. That's the only item, though, that can be transferred. It depends on when your English proficiency scores expire, I think. It's possible we could retain your English proficiency scoring as well, as long as they're still relevant and up to date.
Yeah, all that is reflecting that it was received.
Great.
My side.
Okay. Okay. I can help you with that at the time that our applications are processed.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. I don't know who was Juliet. I think I saw your hand up. So maybe do you want to ask a question?
Yes. Yeah, so I think someone also typed a similar question. So concerning identifying an advisor ahead of submitting your application, I think you mentioned that we are supposed to maybe email them or maybe write to them to find out if they are accommodating PhD students in their group.
Yeah.
Yes, but besides that, how do you include it maybe in your application? Are you supposed to maybe mention them while writing your personal statement to state that are you supposed to do that?
Yeah, that would be you might put it in there about how you sent messages to, such and such faculty members even if they didn't say that they were taking students, it just shows us or shows the admissions committee that you're, serious about the program and that you were, you're actively looking for advisors. So I recommend doing that.
Oh, okay. Yes, please. All right. Thank you.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
also, just one little question. Sorry.
Sure.
Yes, concerning writing your SOP, will you maybe tell us some really main key factors you look out for from students that you want to highlight on more when writing a statement of purpose for Boise?
Yeah, I don't think I'll get into that. I mean, just to be honest and just to try to let your, interests shine through. That's kind of the best thing you can do. The more it can align with, some research that's going on here, the better. So that's my only recommendations really I can give you at this point.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think essentially I would add that we're looking in the statement, our admissions committee rather is looking in the statement of purpose for students who can be successful in a doctoral program. So whatever evidence you can provide from your skills, your background, your expertise, your experiences that support that sense of ability and ability to succeed, then focus on those things in your statement of purpose and really refine it so that the admissions committee can see who you are and what you bring to the program. Dr. Wright, we have some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
One is just seeking clarification. David's asking, since you only need to search for an advisor, does that mean you don't need to reach out to them? So
No,
clarification.
You should reach out to advisors potential advisors before applying to the program. Definitely do that. You may or may not be successful, but it just goes to show that you're sort of know who the faculty are. You're showing interest in the program, and yeah, I would just recommend doing that. We look for that in the application materials that you've reached out to potential supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answers your question, David.
Another question, can a student do the degree part-time online? And I can address that. Our program is an in-person program. It is not an online program. So you would be required to be in person. Classes are in person. Some, of course, are hybrid from time to time, but this is primarily an in-person program.
Yes.
And is English proficiency mandatory? It is for some students, and those details are provided by international admissions on the website. I'll share these slides with you. They'll contain links that will help you find that information effortlessly, and so you can review whether or not the English proficiency is required for you personally.
Okay, let's take a question maybe from Carlos. Did you have a question?
Yes, I mute myself. A couple questions, maybe. One is official transcript. Sorry, its official transcript will still require for domestic student from Boise State?
Yeah. If your degree is from Boise State, it should be relatively easy to do. But yes, even if you're a domestic student, you have to have an official transcript sent from whatever university you attended.
Okay.
Boise State admissions will facilitate that process, but we do require official transcripts from all of your institutions that you've attended. If Boise State is your only previous institution, then admissions will really seamlessly help you add that to your application materials.
So I do not need to download any information?
No, they will do that internally.
Okay, one more question. Is there any group that will help you, like you know, review your personal statement, things like that? Is there anything available in Boise State?
There's no group here that I would know of. I'm not sure what kind of other opportunities there are outside of Boise State. Unless are you a student here, or were you a student here?
Yes, I'm now degree seeking student as of right now.
Okay. Right. So that bridge to the doctorate program has provided some opportunities. I don't know if you saw the slide there, but they have provided some opportunities where they will give some information about, writing the statement of purpose for people who are on campus themselves. I'm not sure if you could reach out to them if you wanted to see what they might say, but we don't have anything in terms of our program that I know about.
Okay, one more last question. With this presentation and record video will be shared with the people who attend?
Yes,
or not?
it will. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Martins, I think, had a question too.
Yes, thank you for your time. And I'd like to confirm, I currently have membership with the United States Embassy here in my country.
Okay.
And they run an education service. Would a transcript from them suffice for the application purpose while I process my official transcripts? Because we share transcript with the education service of the United States Embassy here in my country.
I don't know for sure. Brenda, do you have any idea about that? Or
Sorry, I was answering another question again. Can you quickly repeat it, Dr. Wright?
I think there was a question about whether the transcript can be shared from the U.S. Embassy in Martin's home country.
No, it has to be from the originating institution.
Okay.
Okay, I was talking about for application purpose, because I would process the official transcript definitely, but I'm asking for application purpose if that will be accepted as a holding transcript. No. I have my personal transcript, and the embassy also has.
We only accept official transcripts. There's no need to submit unofficial transcripts because we won't review them.
Okay. Okay. So, and again, I don't have a background, an academic background in IT. I studied accounting. I have a master's degree in business, but I have over 11 years of cybersecurity experience in cybersecurity, as well as certifications in cybersecurity. I've worked as a professional in cybersecurity field. So I'd like to ask if my certifications, especially from the global bodies, will count for credit towards the PhD program, especially for cybersecurity domain. Thank you.
You can request such things. I can't give you a definite answer right now because we consider everything on a case-by-case basis, but you could certainly submit those. We have opportunities in some classes to challenge the class, which would just mean that you think you've satisfied the course in some other means, and that's an opportunity to do that. But right now I can't give you a definitive, but it could be a possibility.
Okay, thank you. So am I supposed to do that during the application?
No, you would do that once you would do that once you were admitted into the program and started. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't try to ask for credits until you're already in the program and here and on campus. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Let's see. I think maybe Edrin, do you have a question?
Yes, please. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Sure.
Well, my question is that is it possible for a person to be having a master's running in progress and then they apply, and is there a probability for such a person who has not yet completed to be considered?
Yeah, it's not required you have a master's degree in the program, but we have many students who are completing a master's degree who apply to the program. we look at your, what you've done so far in that program in terms of your courses you've completed. And, if you can say more about it in your statement of purpose, more about what you're doing in your master's degree, that just helps us give some context into where you're at.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Do we have one from the chat we want to get to?
I was just going to address the question about acceptance rates, and was going to just indicate that our program is highly competitive, and the number of applications we receive each year continues to grow, and just multiplying every year. And so it's hard to say what the acceptance rate would be for this year. It depends on the pool of applicants. But Dr. Wright, what would you say? 35% to 50% is roughly, it's a ballpark?
Yes, exactly. That's just admission into the program. The selection for a program funding is much more competitive.
That's right.
Maybe like 5% or 10%.
Yes.
So yeah, but admission is I think the numbers you quoted, Brenda, sound about right.
I also had a question just for clarification about once you make contact with advisors or have identified advisors, those individuals are noted on your computing PhD admission questionnaire. This is a unique form that's required by our program for the application. You'll find the link to that in the application requirements on our website. And so be sure to, it's a Google form, and so you will receive your responses. You'll create a PDF of those responses, and then you'll upload that to your application materials. And that's where we'll see a variety of information that you provide to us, including the advisors that you may have interest in working with or who you may have already consulted with.
Yes, great, thanks. Maybe we'll take a question from Injian, is that right? Zai, I'm not sure if I said that right, but
yeah, hello. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I came from China and I go through the requirements of the transcript. It requires me to upload a certificate from a government-run platform to certificate my transcript from my university. And do I need to combine that stuff with my transcript from my university and handle them together by mail to Boise, or do I need to just upload something online?
I believe you could upload those online. And this is, again, just to clarify, just documentation of certificates. Is that right?
It seems like all the transcripts from Chinese university need to be certified by that platform to let the universities know things are real. And yeah, how do I do that? Because I have not found the portal of it.
Okay, I'm going to put the link to the information for submitting transcripts in the chat, and I think that'll be helpful for you. Just one moment and I'll put that in the chat. Dr. Wright, you can take other questions.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Mark, did you have another question?
No.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I saw your hand up. So, okay. How about Fadil Rahman?
Yeah, this is a quick, remember to Dr. Wright. Like I've sent you an email.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I just responded. Yes, I'll look for it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, any other questions that people have?
Yes, please. Just one question.
Sure.
Okay. So
this is Juliet again. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. All right. See. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. So besides meetings like this, in case maybe today you stated that if you have any questions, you can reach out to computing PhD at Boise. But besides that, can we also email you? Is it something that is done? In case we have any concerns, can we email you directly? Or we at least have to channel
I can't. You can email me directly, but I can't guarantee I'll respond, immediately. But I try my best. So, yeah.
All right. That is it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions people have? I think we got everything in the chat. Is that true, Brenda? I'm just looking to make sure that.
I think so. I'm just typing here. I believe I am caught up with the questions in, yes. We're good on the chat questions.
Great.
And I'm just putting an international admissions transcripts link in right now. I put both overall transcripts, admissions, graduate college information, and followed by a link specific to international students. So, okay.
Yeah, I got a link. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. I hope that's helpful. And you can reach out to Computing PhD at boisestate.edu if you have follow-up questions on transcripts or English proficiency or any of those things, and I'm glad to help. All right. Well, we're over time, Dr. Wright, so I guess we should wrap up. And one last question here, I guess, and multiple professors emailing at the same time. I think it's professional to, I think professional email habits are to address the person that you're intending to address instead of sending a blanket email. I think it'll help you connect better with an individual, but it's up to you. That's just
I wouldn't send the same message to 3 people. I would target your emails towards the person that you're interested in, which maybe is what you mean by that question. But yeah, you can contact multiple professors at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly, encouraged, but I just, don't send them all the same message or don't include them all in one message. So that's just, otherwise, yeah, the professors tend to think that it's just maybe a spam email. So.
Thank you all for your time and for your interest, and we look forward to receiving your applications.
Yeah, and if anyone has any other questions, again, reach out to computingphd@boisestate.edu, and we will answer those as best we can. So yeah, thanks everyone. Nice to meet everyone. And we look forward to seeing your applications in January. Just make sure you meet the January 5th deadline.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.